Dr. Pol leaves behind a fortune that does more than provide for his family. It makes them cry. For the world, Dr. Pol is a beloved veterinarian, but for his family, he is a man whose wealth was built through hard work, love, and sacrifice. The tears aren't just for his financial legacy, but for the emotional journey that shaped it. From the heartbreaking loss of his grandson to the many family challenges along the way, Dr. Pol's determination to ensure his family's future has been forged in tragedy, leaving behind a legacy that will last for generations. Join us as we delve into the details of Dr. Pol's incredible fortune that makes his family cry. The journey from humble beginnings to success. Dr. Jan Pol's story is one of hard work and an unwavering passion for animals. He grew up on a dairy farm where he was surrounded by animals from an early age. It was here, amid the green pastures and simple farm life, that his love for veterinary medicine first took root. As a child, he developed a fascination with the well-being of the animals on the farm, often assisting with their care. This early exposure sparked a desire to learn more about animal health, leading to the beginning of a lifelong journey into veterinary care. In the post-war Netherlands, opportunities were limited. Still, Dr. Pol pursued veterinary studies at Utrecht University, one of the top veterinary schools in the world. During his time at university, he gained extensive knowledge and hands-on experience that laid the foundation for his future success. It was clear that Dr. Pol wasn't just looking for a job, he had a calling. However, the Netherlands couldn't contain his growing aspirations, and soon, the opportunity for a life-changing move presented itself. In the 1970s, after meeting his future wife, Diane, Dr. Pol made the bold decision to leave behind his homeland and relocate to the United States. Together, they moved to Michigan, where Dr. Pol began working for a local veterinary practice. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life. The decision to start fresh in a new country wasn't easy, but it would pave the way for Dr. Pol's extraordinary career. His early years in America were filled with challenges. Not only did he have to adapt to a new culture and way of life, but he also had to establish himself in the veterinary field. Dr. Pol quickly built a reputation for being a hard-working, compassionate veterinarian. He took on a wide range of cases, from routine checkups to emergency farm visits, and he often worked late into the night to ensure his patients received the care they needed. But the long hours came at a price. There were countless nights when Diane would sit by the window with their young children, waiting for him to return from yet another late-night farm call. As much as he loved his work, the weight of missing family dinners, school recitals, and bedtime stories hung heavy on him. It was the price of building a future, a sacrifice he made for the promise of a better life for those he loved. In 1981, after years of gaining experience and saving diligently, Dr. Pol and Diane decided to take a leap of faith. They opened their own veterinary practice, Pol Veterinary Services, in Weidman, Michigan. The practice started small. Dr. Pol operated out of a modest building and drove long distances to care for farm animals in rural communities. The early days were tough, with financial strain and the uncertainty of building a business from the ground up. But the toughest challenge was balancing his dream with the needs of his family. Diane managed the practice's books and handled the household, often carrying the burden of raising their children alone, while Dr. Pol chased the promise of a brighter future. Yet, his perseverance and hands-on approach to veterinary care began to pay off. Word of his dedication and skill spread quickly, and soon, his practice started to grow. Running a rural veterinary clinic came with its fair share of difficulties. The long hours, unpredictable weather, and the challenges of caring for large farm animals in remote locations required a unique blend of expertise and grit. Dr. Pol, however, thrived in these conditions. His farm upbringing in the Netherlands had prepared him for the physical and emotional demands of working with livestock, and his background in veterinary medicine gave him the knowledge to handle even the most complex cases. He knew he was missing out on time with his family, but he consoled himself with the hope that his efforts would ensure their security. Over time, Pol Veterinary Services grew from a small practice into a thriving business. Dr. Pol's reputation as a skilled and compassionate veterinarian attracted clients from miles around. He built close relationships with the farmers and pet owners in his community, many of whom came to rely on him not just as a veterinarian, but as a trusted advisor and friend. His approach to veterinary care was practical and no-nonsense, earning him the respect of those who appreciated his commitment to doing whatever it took to ensure the health of their animals. As Dr. Pol's practice grew, so did his influence. He became known for his willingness to take on difficult cases that others wouldn't. His success wasn't just measured by the growth of his practice, but by the loyalty and trust he earned from his clients. But even as his professional life thrived, the personal sacrifices continued. There were moments when the cost of those sacrifices hit home, like when his children told him about milestones he'd missed, or when Diane's patience wore thin from carrying the weight alone. But as Dr. Pol's veterinary career flourished, life had more in store for him. The challenges of running a rural veterinary practice were just one part of his story. What Dr. Pol didn't know was that his journey was about to take a remarkable turn, one that would bring him unprecedented fame and fortune, and change his life forever. This new chapter would begin with the birth of a television show that would turn the humble veterinarian from Michigan into a household name across the world. The birth of the incredible Dr. Pol. In 2011, an unexpected opportunity came knocking on the door of Pol Veterinary Services. What started as a local veterinary practice in rural Michigan was about to become the setting of one of the most beloved reality TV shows. The man behind this transformation was none other than Dr. Pol's son, Charles Pol. He saw a unique opportunity to turn his father's work into a television series that would not only showcase veterinary care, but also capture the heart and soul of rural farm life. Charles Pol had a vision. He'd grown up watching his father care for animals, and he knew that the day-to-day operations of his father's veterinary practice were anything but ordinary. From late-night calls to care for distressed livestock to the warm personal relationships Dr. Pol had built with his clients, Charles saw something special in his father's approach. His upbringing in rural Michigan gave him a deep understanding of the hard work and dedication required to keep both farms and pets healthy, but his career in Hollywood gave him the tools to bring this story to the world. Charles decided to pitch the idea of a reality show based on his father's veterinary work. He knew that audiences would connect with his father's down-to-earth personality and the raw authenticity of the cases he handled daily. The concept was simple. Follow Dr. Pol as he makes house calls, performs surgeries, and cares for a wide range of animals, from horses and cows to cats and dogs. Charles was convinced that his father's passion for animals and his hands-on, no-nonsense approach would resonate with viewers. His instincts proved correct. After pitching the show to various networks, National Geographic Wild saw the potential and agreed to bring the incredible Dr. Pol to life. From the first episode, it was clear that the show had tapped into something unique. It wasn't just a veterinary show. It was a heartfelt glimpse into rural life, anchored by Dr. Pol's deep love for animals and his strong work ethic. The show's charm lay in its simplicity. It showcased the real, unpolished, day-to-day life of a rural veterinarian who wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty. But for Dr. Pol, the cameras brought more than just fame. They captured moments that highlighted both the fulfillment and the sacrifices he had made over the years. When the incredible Dr. Pol premiered, it quickly gained a loyal following. Viewers were captivated. They watched in awe as he performed complex surgeries, delivered calves in the dead of night, and handled a wide variety of animal emergencies with skill and compassion. But it wasn't just the veterinary work that drew audiences in. It was Dr. Pol's personality. His warmth, humor, and genuine care for both animals and their owners resonated deeply with viewers. Behind the scenes, the success of the show brought much-needed financial relief to the Pol family, but it also highlighted the long hours and the time Dr. Pol had spent away from home, chasing his dreams. Over time, the show became a fixture in homes across the country, and eventually around the world. The incredible Dr. Pol offered something different from other reality shows. There was no drama for drama's sake, just real people and real animals in real situations. Dr. Pol's approachability, combined with the show's heartwarming and sometimes emotional stories, created a bond between him and the audience. The show wasn't just about the animals. It was about the people and communities that Dr. Pol served. Viewers saw him as a friend and a trusted advisor. someone who genuinely cared about the well-being of the animals and their owners. Over the years, the incredible Dr. Pol has showcased some unforgettable cases, but two truly stand out for their sheer strangeness. One of these involved a horse with an unexpected appetite for car tires. Called in to address severe abdominal pain, Dr. Pol discovered the horse had been munching on rubber and metal, necessitating an intense procedure to save its life. Another bizarre case involved a cow who had developed a taste for dirt and gravel, causing blockages in its stomach. The cow's mysterious cravings puzzled Dr. Pol, who performed a complicated surgery to remove the material and later learned it was due to a mineral deficiency in the cow's diet. These cases not only challenged Dr. Pol's veterinary skills, but also showcased the unexpected, hands-on nature of farm veterinary medicine. The success of the incredible Dr. Pol didn't just bring fame, it also brought financial success. The show's widespread appeal made it a hit for National Geographic Wild. And as viewership grew, so did Dr. Pol's earnings. His practice in rural Michigan continued to serve the local community, but the income from the show allowed Dr. Pol to secure a substantial fortune. This new financial stability meant that Dr. Pol could focus on providing for his family in ways he never thought possible, a source of both pride and a reminder of the years when he'd struggled to balance work and family. Even as his bank account grew, he continued to see patients, often working long hours to ensure that every animal in need received care. The wealth accumulated through the success of the show became a significant part of Dr. Pol's legacy, one that would secure his family's future for generations. As his practice thrived and the show continued to air season after season, his financial success allowed him to focus on making sure his family was provided for. The tears his family shed were not just in response to the emotional stories captured on camera. They were a recognition of the immense fortune and legacy Dr. Pol built through his hard work, love for animals, and dedication to his community. Building a fortune. Dr. Pol's financial success. Before the fame and cameras, Dr. Pol's primary source of income was his clinic. It had been in operation since 1981, primarily serving the rural farming community. With over 20,000 clients throughout the years, the veterinary clinic itself has been a consistent source of income for Dr. Pol. The day-to-day operations of Pol Veterinary Services have remained the backbone of Dr. Pol's income, even after he achieved global fame. Despite his increasing wealth from television, Dr. Pol never abandoned the clinic. He continued to work hands-on with animals, often sacrificing personal time to ensure his patients received the care they needed. This unwavering dedication not only maintained the clinic's profitability, but also spoke to the deep-rooted sense of responsibility he felt toward the community and his family. While his veterinary practice provided a steady income, Dr. Pol's fortune significantly grew after the launch of The Incredible Dr. Pol in 2011. The show's success propelled Dr. Pol into the spotlight, and with that came financial rewards. It is estimated that Dr. Pol earns between $30,000 to $40,000 per episode of the show, with higher payouts in recent years due to its popularity. With 24 seasons and over 240 episodes, The Incredible Dr. Pol has been a significant source of income, contributing millions to Dr. Pol's net worth. The exposure from the show also opened up additional revenue streams, such as product endorsements, public appearances, and speaking engagements. The show's authenticity became its selling point, drawing millions of loyal viewers over the years. However, even as his earnings grew, Dr. Pol remained grounded, knowing that his wealth came with the opportunity to secure the well-being of those he loved. Dr. Pol further capitalized on his fame by writing a memoir, Never Turn Your Back on an Angus Cow, which became a bestseller. The book provided fans with a deeper look into his life, his upbringing in the Netherlands, and his journey to becoming one of America's most beloved veterinarians. The book's success added another layer to his financial portfolio. In addition to his book, Dr. Pol has been involved in several product endorsements related to animal care, including pet foods, veterinary supplies, and grooming products. These partnerships have not only boosted his income but have also strengthened his brand as a trusted authority in animal care. With the wealth he has accumulated, Dr. Pol has also made significant investments, particularly in real estate. He resides in Weidman, Michigan, on a large property that includes a farm where he continues to care for various animals. His modest lifestyle contrasts with the fortune he has built. He enjoys collecting classic cars, one of his few indulgences. Among his collection are a 1937 Rolls-Royce and a 1981 DeLorean, an impressive array for someone who describes himself as living modestly. Yet, beneath these small luxuries, there remained a man who never forgot the struggles of building a life from the ground up, always mindful of what it took to get there. At the core of Dr. Pol's fortune is his desire to secure his family's future. The tragedies they have faced, including the loss of his grandson Adam Butch, have deepened Dr. Pol's resolve to ensure that his family is taken care of financially. Every investment, every episode, every partnership was driven by a need to protect those he held dear, a way of building a legacy that went beyond wealth. His fortune, while substantial, is also a reflection of his determination to build something lasting for his children and grandchildren. It is a story built on financial success, but it is also one of love, resilience, and a commitment to his family, a truly priceless legacy. The heartbreak behind the success, family tragedies. While Dr. Jan Pol's life has been marked by tremendous professional success, it has also been deeply affected by personal heartbreak. The most profound of these tragedies came in 2019, when his grandson, Adam James Butch, passed away unexpectedly at the age of 23. Adam was the son of Dr. Pol's daughter, Kathleen Pol. His sudden death left an irreplaceable void in their lives. Adam was a bright young man with a promising future ahead of him. He had graduated from Michigan State University and was passionate about helping others. Despite his young age, Adam had already begun to build a life for himself. He worked as a pharmacy technician and was making plans for the future. His unexpected death, reportedly due to complications from a chronic illness, devastated the Pol family, particularly Dr. Pol, who had always been deeply involved in his grandchildren's lives. For him, the loss of Adam was a harsh reminder of the unpredictability of life, amplifying the importance of the fortune he was working so hard to secure. The grief that followed motivated him to further secure his family's future, knowing that life's uncertainties could strike at any moment. As a man who had worked tirelessly throughout his life to build a stable foundation for his family, Adam's death intensified Dr. Pol's resolve to protect and care for his loved ones in every way he could, both emotionally and financially. In the wake of this loss, the wealth he accumulated through his practice and television show took on a deeper meaning. It became a way to provide a safety net for his family, to ensure that no matter what life threw at them, they would be taken care of. His dedication to his family's future was already evident through the success of his veterinary practice and television show. But after Adam's death, this focus took on even greater significance. For a man who had built so much from humble beginnings, it wasn't just about wealth. It was about creating a legacy that would continue to support his family, even in their darkest moments. They spurred him to make thoughtful, deliberate decisions regarding the financial well-being of his family, ensuring that the fortune he left behind would be a source of security and comfort. Beyond Adam's passing, Dr. Pol and his family have experienced other challenges that further solidified their resilience and closeness. Over the years, the pressures of running a successful veterinary practice, coupled with the demands of filming the incredible Dr. Pol, have created immense stress. However, through these hardships, Dr. Pol remained focused on the importance of family. He has often spoken about how family is at the core of everything he does, both professionally and personally. This belief has been a driving force behind his decision to ensure that his success is not just temporary, but something that will benefit future generations of the Pol family. The emotional weight of losing Adam left a mark on Dr. Pol's personal life and on his public persona. Fans of the incredible Dr. Pol noticed the impact this tragedy had on the normally upbeat veterinarian. While he continued to work tirelessly, there was a deep sadness beneath the surface. Despite this, Dr. Pol's resilience shone through. His ability to keep moving forward, even in the face of such overwhelming grief, is evidence of the strength of his character and the depth of his love for his family. A deep commitment to leave behind a legacy that could support his family, long after he was gone. Why Dr. Pol's fortune makes his family cry. The fortune that Dr. Pol leaves behind for his family is more than just financial wealth. It's a reflection of decades of hard work, sacrifices, and dedication to the well-being of his loved ones and the animals he cared for. As his family realizes the full scope of what he has built, both in terms of financial security and personal legacy, it is impossible not to be overwhelmed with emotion. For his children and grandchildren, understanding the depth of Dr. Pol's fortune means confronting not only the numbers in bank accounts or the value of real estate, but also the countless hours he spent tending to animals, answering late-night calls, and making sure the family business thrived. The tears they shed are not just for the financial safety net he provided, but for the realization of the years he had devoted to them, securing their futures in ways they may not have fully understood yet. The loss of his grandson brought the family together in grief, but it also deepened Dr. Pol's commitment to ensuring that his family is taken care of. He isn't simply leaving them wealth, he is leaving behind security, love, and the knowledge that he has worked tirelessly for their futures. Beyond financial considerations, Dr. Pol's family also has to grapple with the emotional legacy of his life's work. For decades, they have witnessed his dedication to veterinary medicine and his unwavering support for their well-being. Now, as they look at what he has accomplished, they can appreciate the magnitude of his efforts. The tears they shed are as much about the man they love as they are about the material wealth he has amassed. As they gather to reflect on Dr. Pol's contributions, both to the family and to the world of veterinary medicine, his family feels a deep sense of pride. But with that pride comes the bittersweet realization that his legacy has been shaped by personal losses, sacrifices, and moments of hardship. The fortune he will leave behind carries with it the reality of a man who has given everything for the people and the animals he loves. Long after he is no more, Dr. Pol's name will be remembered as a symbol of humility, dedication, and an unshakable commitment to family and profession. Do you think the incredible Dr. Pol was more than just a show about veterinary care? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. We'd love to hear. For now, though, we're out of here. We'll catch you in the next video.